was screaming when my bedroom door flew open. My dad stood there, breathless, eyes wide. "Emily, what's wrong?" I couldn't answer, because in my shaking hands was a letter written in my handwriting, dated 10 years from now, and it said, "Don't trust Dad. He killed Mom." I dropped it like it burned. My chest tore open, my throat locked, my heart slammed so hard I thought he could hear it. Dad rushed toward me. "Are you hurt?" I grabbed the letter and shoved it behind my back. "No," I whispered. "Just a nightmare." But I was wide awake, and everything I believed had just shattered. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 18, a senior in high school. I live in a quiet Ohio suburb where nothing bad is supposed to happen. My mom died when I was 8. A car accident. That's what everyone said, and for 10 years I believed it. Until tonight. After Dad left, I locked my door and slid to the floor. My hands shook as I unfolded the letter again. Same slanted E's, same loops on my Y's, even the tiny heart over the I in my name. It was my handwriting. At the top, October 14th, 2035. 10 years from now. The letter read, "Emily, if you're reading this, you still don't know the truth. Mom didn't die in an accident. Dad killed her. He'll lie. He'll cry. He'll make you doubt yourself. Don't confront him. Find the blue box in the garage. And remember the scar on your left knee. That's how you'll know this is real. Trust me. I am you." I am you. My breath came out in broken gasps. A prank, it had to be. But who would know about the scar? I pulled up my pajama leg. There it was, a thin white line from when I fell off my bike at 6. Only Mom had been there. My fingers pressed against it. "No," I whispered, "this isn't real." But my body didn't believe me. I sat on my bed staring at the words. Mom's death had always felt blurry. The funeral, black clothes, Dad holding me so tight I couldn't breathe. "She's gone, Em." And I believed him. He raised me alone, packed lunches, helped with homework, cheered at my games. He was my whole world. And now this letter was calling him a murderer. "No," I said aloud, "you're wrong." But the words didn't change.
Find the blue box in the garage. I checked the clock. 2:17 a.m. Dad would be asleep. If this was fake, I'd prove it. I crept downstairs, every step echoing in my ears. The garage smelled like oil and dust. I searched shelves, boxes, under the workbench. Nothing. Relief washed over me. See, it's a lie. Then I saw it. In the far corner. An old, scratched blue cooler. My breath caught. I walked toward it like it might explode, and opened it. My knees hit the floor. Inside were photos, police papers, and a necklace. My mom's necklace. The silver heart she wore every day. The one Dad said was lost in the crash. No, no, no. I picked up a photo. It was Mom in our kitchen. On the back was a date. 3 days after her supposed death. My vision blurred. This wasn't possible. I stuffed everything back, slammed the lid, and ran upstairs. Locked my door and cried into my pillow so Dad wouldn't hear. The next morning, I acted normal. Ate breakfast while Dad talked about college. Smiled, nodded. Inside, I was screaming. He kissed my forehead before work. "Love you, Em." "Love you too," I said. The words tasted wrong. At school, I couldn't focus. My best friend Sarah asked, "You okay? You look like you saw a ghost." I almost laughed. How could I say it? My future self says my dad killed my mom. So I just said, "Didn't sleep." But the letter burned in my backpack. When I got home, another envelope lay on my bed. Same handwriting. My knees went weak. I locked the door and opened it. "You found the blue box, didn't you?" "Good. That means you're listening. Next, check the old phone in the attic, the one with the cracked screen. And Emily, he's starting to suspect you." My heart raced. "How could you know?" I whispered. Unless it really was me. That night after dinner, I climbed into the attic. Dust filled the air as I searched through boxes. And then I saw it. An old phone. Cracked screen. The one Mom used to keep in her purse. Dad said it was destroyed. But here it was. I turned it on. It still worked. There was one video. Dated the night Mom died. I pressed play.
Mom's face filled the screen. Her eyes were red. "Emily," she whispered, "if you see this, I'm so sorry." My breath stopped. "Your father is angry. He thinks I'm going to leave. I just want you safe. I love you more than anything." A door slammed off camera. Mom looked terrified. The video cut off. I stood there, frozen. Mom hadn't died in an accident. She'd been scared. Of Dad. That night, I couldn't sleep. At 1:03 a.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Did you check the attic?" My hands shook. "Who are you?" I typed. The reply came instantly. "You, 10 years from now." Then, "Tomorrow, your teacher will announce a surprise fire drill at 10:15 a.m. That's when you'll stop doubting me." The next day, I watched the clock. 10:12, 10:14. At 10:15, the loudspeaker crackled. "Attention, students. This is a surprise fire drill." The alarm blared. My legs went weak. This was real. All of it. That night, another letter waited. "Now you believe me. Dad didn't mean to kill her, but he won't hesitate to hurt you if you get too close. Be careful. I already lost once." Lost what? Lost me. I stared at my door. Every shadow felt dangerous. Because now I knew my normal life was gone. And my father might be the reason my mother never came home. I sat on my bed, whispering, "What are you trying to turn me into?" And deep inside, a voice answered, "Someone who survives." I started watching my father like you watch a stranger. Every smile felt rehearsed. Every question sounded like an interrogation. At breakfast, he asked, "Did you sleep okay, Em?" His voice was gentle, too gentle. "Yeah," I said, pushing cereal around my bowl, but my eyes kept drifting to his hands. Those hands had lifted me onto his shoulders, wiped my tears, taught me to ride a bike. And now all I could think was, were these the same hands that killed my mother? The thought made my stomach twist. I hated myself for even imagining it, but the letters wouldn't let me forget. At school, I barely heard my teachers. All I could think about was what my future self had written. "Dad didn't mean to kill her, but he won't hesitate to hurt you if you get too close." If that was true, then I was already in danger. That afternoon, another envelope appeared in my backpack. I hadn't felt anyone put it there, but it was there. I locked myself in a bathroom stall and opened it. "You need proof, Emily. Not fear, not feelings. Proof. Tonight, check Dad's study, 3rd drawer, under the tax files. Whatever you do, don't let him see you reading this." My heart hammered. Dad's study was off limits. He always said it was for work stuff. I'd never gone in there. Until now. That evening, Dad cooked dinner like always. Pasta, garlic bread, the same meal Mom used to make on Fridays. He talked about his day, about a promotion. I smiled when he smiled. Inside, I was screaming. After dinner, he settled in to watch the news. I pretended to go upstairs, then crept back down. My heart pounded so loud I was sure he could hear it. I slipped into his study and closed the door. The room smelled like paper and coffee. I went straight to the desk. 3rd drawer. Locked. My breath caught. Then I remembered. Years ago, I'd seen him unlock it with a small brass key. I searched the desk, found it taped underneath. My hand shook as I unlocked the drawer. Inside were folders, bills, and beneath them, a manila envelope. No label, just sealed. I opened it. My chest tightened as I read the name. Rebecca Carter. My mom. Police reports. Photos.
not the ones Gad had shown me as a kid. These were different. They talked about bruising on her arms, signs of a struggle, neighbors hearing shouting, and then the line that froze my blood. Husband questioned. Alibi inconsistent. Inconsistent. Dad had told me he was working late, that he rushed to the hospital when he got the call. But this said he was home, that people heard them arguing. Why would he lie? Unless... I couldn't finish the thought. I snapped photos of everything and shoved the papers back. Locked the drawer. Just in time. Footsteps in the hall. "Emily," Dad called. "What are you doing down here?" I froze, then forced a smile as I opened the door. "I couldn't find my charger. Thought I left it here." He studied my face. 1 second too long. Then smiled. "Probably upstairs. Don't stay up too late." "Okay." I walked past him, legs shaking. Didn't breathe until I locked my bedroom door. That night, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Did you find the envelope?" "Yes," I typed. "Good. Now you know the police doubted him too." Why didn't they arrest him? Not enough evidence, and he was very good at crying. I stared at the screen. "How do you know all this?" 3 dots appeared. Then, "Because I left it. And because next week, he almost killed me too." My chest tightened. "Almost?" A pause. "You'll understand soon. That's why you have to be careful." I put the phone down, shaking. Almost killed me, which meant I survived. Barely. From then on, I started collecting everything. Every small lie. Every strange look. Every time he dodged a question about Mom. One evening I asked casually, "Dad, do you miss Mom?" His face stiffened. "Of course," he said quickly. But he wouldn't meet my eyes. 2 days later, another letter came. "He's getting nervous. He thinks you're changing. Next step, put a recorder in his car, under the driver's seat. Do it when he's in the shower tomorrow." My stomach twisted. This was getting dangerous. But if I wanted the truth, I needed proof. The next morning, the shower turned on. I grabbed my phone, opened a recording app, and ran to the garage. Dad's car sat there, silent. I opened the door and crouched. My hand shook as I slid the phone under the seat and hit record. Every second felt like an hour. I ran back upstairs just as the water shut off, heart pounding. If he caught me, I didn't even want to imagine it. For 2 days, nothing happened. Dad went to work, came home, acted normal. I started thinking maybe I was destroying my family over crazy letters. Then, on the 3rd day, I checked the recordings. Dozens of files. Most were just road noise. Until I saw one. 11:43 p.m. Late. Dad rarely drove that late. I pressed play. At first, silence. Then his voice. Low. Tense. "I told you it was an accident." Another man spoke. "You pushed her. You said she wouldn't shut up." My breath stopped. Dad sighed. "I didn't mean to. She was threatening to take Emily, to ruin everything. I just lost control. I felt dizzy." The man said, "And now your daughter is asking questions." Dad went quiet. Then he said the words that froze my blood. "She doesn't know anything, but if she gets close, I'll handle it, like I did before." I ripped the earbuds out. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. He hadn't just admitted it, he'd threatened me. I locked myself in my room and cried silently. Every memory of Dad replayed in my head. His hugs, his jokes, his "I love you." Was he both? A loving father and a murderer? Another letter came that night. "You heard it, didn't you? I wish you didn't have to. But now you know why I can't stop. Next, you need to make him feel safe, like you trust him. That's the only way he'll slip." Tears blurred my vision. "Why are you doing this to me?" I whispered.
But I knew, because if I didn't, he'd get away with it.
The next day, I acted normal. No, more than normal. I laughed at his jokes, asked about work, even hugged him before school. "I love you, Dad," I said. He hugged me back. For a second, I almost forgot everything. Then he said, "Love you too, sweetheart," and I remembered. That evening, I sat beside him on the couch, like when I was little. "Dad," I said softly. "Yeah? Do you ever think about the night Mom died?" His body stiffened. "Sometimes. Why?" "I don't remember much," I said. "I just wish I knew what really happened." He pulled me closer. "It was an accident, Em. A drunk driver. That's all." I nodded. Then quietly asked, "Do you ever feel guilty? Like if you'd been there, you could have saved her?" He went very still. "I was there," he said, before he could stop himself, then froze. I looked up. "You were? I thought you said you were at work." His face went pale. "I mean, I came home early, for a minute." He was lying, and he knew I knew. "Why are you asking all this?" he said, suddenly serious. "Just curious." He studied my face, then smiled again, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Don't dig into the past," he said. "It's not good for you." Inside, I was screaming. That night, my phone buzzed. A no number. "Careful. You pushed too hard." "How do you know what I said?" I typed. "Because I remember it. And because after this, he started watching me too." My chest tightened. "What happens next?" A pause. "Next, he tries to scare you. And if that doesn't work, he decides you're a problem." "What did you do?" The answer came in one line. "I prepared to lose everything." I lay awake in the dark, heart pounding. Every creak sounded like his footsteps. This wasn't just about finding the truth anymore. This was about surviving long enough to tell it. Because my father was starting to see me as a threat. I clutched my phone and whispered, "If you're really me, don't let me die." A moment later, my screen lit up. "I won't. But you're going to have to be brave in ways you never imagined."
The first time I knew my dad was watching me was when my bedroom door was already open when I got home. I was sure I'd closed it that morning. I stood there, backpack slipping off my shoulder, staring at the dark gap. My heart pounded. Slowly, I stepped inside. Nothing looked different. My bed, my desk, my posters, but the air felt wrong, like someone had been there. I went to my drawer. The letters were still hidden under my clothes, but they were out of order. My breath caught. He touched them. At dinner, Dad acted too normal. He joked, smiled, asked about school, but his eyes kept drifting to me. "So," he said casually, "you've been asking a lot about your mom lately." My fork froze. "Just thinking about her," I said. "Is that bad?" "No," he said softly, "but digging into old wounds can hurt more than it helps." Our eyes met. It didn't feel like advice. It felt like a warning. That night, a new letter waited under my pillow. I almost screamed when I felt it. "He's on to you. From now on, assume he's listening. Don't react, just observe. Tomorrow he'll forget his phone at home. Check it." My stomach twisted. Checking his car was one thing. His phone? That felt like crossing a line. But then I remembered the recording. "I'll handle it, like I did before." I couldn't ignore that. The next morning, Dad rushed out, then came back 5 minutes later. "Forgot my phone," he said, annoyed. "Mind if I grab it?" "Sure," I said, stepping aside. He took it from the counter and left. Something felt off. Later, he did the same thing with his wallet. That's when I knew. He wanted me to look. He wanted to test me. That evening, when he went to shower, I crept into his room. His phone was on the nightstand, unlocked. He never left it unlocked. Unless he wanted me to find something. My hand shook as I picked it up. Most messages were normal. Then I saw a contact. Mike. My blood ran cold. I opened it. "Mike,
She's asking questions. Dad, I know, I'm handling it. Be careful. You don't want another mess. Dad, it won't come to that. She's my daughter. Another mess. Like Mom. The latest message was from that morning. Dad, if she doesn't back off, I'll scare her. That should shut her up. Scare me. I took photos of everything and put the phone back exactly as it was. Then I ran to my room and locked the door, shaking. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. He set the trap, didn't he? Yes. Good. That means he's still trying to control you, not hurt you yet. The word yet made my chest tighten. What does he do to scare me? A pause. He makes you feel unsafe in your own home, so you'll stop looking. My breath hitched. How? Another pause. You'll know soon. That night, I locked my door, but it didn't help. I woke to a soft scraping sound, like something sliding across the floor. I sat up, heart pounding. Dad? I whispered. No answer. The sound came again, closer. I turned on my lamp. My bedroom window was open. Cold air rushed in. I was sure I'd closed it. I walked over and looked down. On the grass below was my mom's necklace, the silver heart, from the blue box. My stomach dropped. He'd taken it and put it there to show me he could reach anything, even what I thought was hidden.
In the morning, I tried to sound casual. Dad, did you come into my room last night? He looked surprised. No, why would I? My window was open. Maybe you forgot, he said gently. You've been distracted lately. I nodded, but my chest burned. He was gaslighting me, just like the letter warned. At school, I couldn't stop shaking. Sarah noticed. You look terrified, Em. What's going on? I wanted to tell her, but the letters had warned me, so I just said, family stuff. She hugged me, and I almost broke down. That afternoon, Dad wasn't home. A note sat on the counter. Running late. Don't wait for dinner. Love, Dad. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. He's meeting Mike tonight. If you want to know where, follow him. My heart skipped. That's dangerous. I know, but this is where everything changes. I stared at the door, thought about Mom, about the recording, about the necklace on the grass. I couldn't stay in the dark anymore. When Dad finally came home, I pretended to be asleep. I listened as he moved around. Then the garage door opened again. He was leaving. I waited a minute, then grabbed my jacket and slipped out. I followed at a distance on my bike, then on foot when he parked. He stopped at a run-down diner on the edge of town. I hid across the street. Through the window, I saw him sit. A few minutes later, a man joined him. Mike. My heart pounded. I crept closer to hear them through a cracked window. He's getting curious, Mike said. I know, Dad replied. She found something, I can tell. So what are you gonna do? I'll scare her again. If that doesn't work, he paused. I'll send her away, to her aunt's, out of my sight. And if she keeps digging, Dad's voice dropped. Then I'll do what I have to. My stomach twisted, just like before.
Suddenly, my phone buzzed in my hand. The sound was loud in the quiet street. Too loud. Dad looked up. His eyes scanned the window. Then he stood, pushed out of the diner. My heart slammed. I turned and ran. I didn't look back. I just ran. I heard footsteps. "Emily!" he shouted. Tears streamed down my face as I sprinted. I ducked into an alley and hid behind a dumpster, holding my breath. The footsteps passed. I waited, then ran home a different way, locked myself in my room and collapsed, shaking. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. You weren't supposed to let him see you. He saw me, I typed. What do I do? The reply came fast. Now you know what I meant by almost losing everything. From this point on, he stops pretending. My chest tightened. Does he hurt me? A long pause. Then, not yet, but he tries. That night, Dad knocked on my door. I didn't answer. Emily, he said calmly,
I know you're awake. Silence. I just want to talk. You ran from me tonight. That hurt. My heart pounded. A father deserves trust from his daughter, he said, sharper now. I still didn't answer. Finally, he sighed. Get some rest. We'll talk in the morning. His footsteps moved away, but I didn't sleep. I sat there all night, staring at the door. In the morning, another letter waited on my desk. I told you this is where it changes. From now on, every move matters. Next step, get out of the house for a few days. Stay with Sarah. Say it's a school project. Emily, this is where I almost lost my life. My hand shook. Get out. Leave. After last night, I knew one thing. My father wasn't just hiding the truth anymore. He was fighting to keep it buried, and I was standing in the way. I looked around my room, at the house I'd grown up in, at the man who used to be my hero, and I realized I was no longer the hunter. I was the hunted.
I packed my bag like I was running from a fire. Not clothes, not books, just what mattered. My phone, the letters, the recording, photos from Dad's drawer, and my mom's necklace. I stared at it before putting it on. Cold, heavy, like it carried her with it. Dad was in the kitchen when I came down, coffee in his hand, watching me. Up early, he said. School project, I replied, forcing calm. Sarah and I have to work all weekend. He studied me, then nodded. Text me when you get there. I grabbed my bag. Emily? I froze. Be careful, he said. You've been distracted lately. I always am, I said, and walked out. Sarah's house felt like another world. Warm, normal. Her mom smiled, didn't ask questions. Stay as long as you want. If only she knew. That night in Sarah's room, I locked the door and texted. I got out. The reply came fast. Good. That buys you time. There's something I never told you. What? Mom didn't die that night. My chest tightened. What do you mean? Dad hurt her badly, but she was alive when he left. Someone else finished it. My fingers shook. Who? A pause. Mike, the man from the diner. He helped clean it up. Once you're that deep, you don't leave witnesses. Tears blurred my vision. Dad hadn't just killed her. He'd handed her over. Another message followed. There's more. The police never stopped looking. They just stopped telling you. What does that mean? There's a detective who never believed the accident. Harris. He's still alive. My heart skipped. How do I find him? An address appeared. I stared at it. This was bigger than just surviving Dad. This was about justice. The next morning, I told Sarah I had an errand. She wanted to come. I said it was family stuff. She nodded, hurt but kind. I'm here if you need me. I hugged her tight. I didn't know if I'd see her again. Detective Harris lived in a cluttered apartment. When he opened the door, I said, My name is Emily Carter. My mom was Rebecca Carter. His eyes widened. He stepped aside. Come in. Inside, I told him everything. The letters, the recording, the blue box, the diner. I expected disbelief, but he listened. When I played the recording, his face changed. I knew something was wrong, he said quietly, but without proof, my hands were tied. He looked at me. This could reopen everything, but if your father finds out, he already suspects, I said. Harris nodded. Then we move fast. That afternoon, Dad texted, How's the project? I swallowed. Good. Might stay another night. A pause. All right. Miss you. Miss you. The words felt heavy. I didn't reply. That night, another message came. You did the right thing, but now comes the hardest part. What's that? You have to go back. My stomach dropped. No, I'm not going back there. You have to. That's where the final proof is, and that's where he breaks. My hand shook. You said I almost lost my life. Is this when? A long pause. Yes. Do I survive? Another pause. Barely. My chest tightened. Then why would I do it? Because if you don't, he never pays for what he did. I closed my eyes. Run. Or walk back into the fire. I met Harris again the next day. If I go back, he'll confront me, I said. That's possible, Harris replied, which is why we'll be ready. If he talks on record, we can take him. Before I left, I texted one last question. If this works, what happens to you? Dots appeared. Then, I become you. My breath caught. What does that mean? You'll understand when it's over. I hugged Sarah goodbye. She looked worried. Please be safe. I'll try. When I reached my house, everything looked normal. The lawn, the porch, the door, like nothing evil could live there. Dad was in the living room. "There you are," he said, smiling. "Sit, we need to talk." My heart pounded. This was it. "You've been different," he said calmly, asking questions, following me. "I know about Mom," I said quietly. His eyes flickered. "What do you think you know?" "I know she was scared. I know you lied. I know about Mike." His jaw tightened. "You don't understand," he said. "She was going to take you away, destroy our family." "You destroyed it," I whispered. He snapped. "Everything I did to keep you. To keep me. Like a thing." He began pacing. "She wouldn't listen," he muttered, and I just lost control. "So you gave her to Mike," I said, "to finish it." He froze. "How do you know that?" "Because I know everything," I said, "and you're done lying." He laughed coldly. "No one will believe you." "Maybe," I said, "but they'll believe you." I pulled out my phone. His face went pale. "A recorder," I said. He lunged. He grabbed my arm and shoved me into the wall. "You're not ruining my life," he shouted. My phone slipped, hit the floor, still recording. My head slammed. Stars burst in my vision. "You should have stayed out of it," he growled. My legs gave way. This was it. This was where I almost died. Then the door burst open. "Police! Let her go!" Dad froze. Detective Harris rushed in. Dad released me. I slid to the floor, coughing. "It's over," Harris said. "We heard everything." Dad looked at me, at the phone, at the officers. Something broke. He dropped to his knees. "I just wanted to keep her," he whispered. They cuffed him. As they led him away, he looked back. "I love you, Emily." I couldn't answer. Outside, the air felt clean. I was bruised, shaken, but alive. Barely. Harris stood beside me. "Your mom would be proud." I nodded through tears. That night, in the hospital, my phone buzzed. "You made it. Is it over?" "Almost. There's one more thing." "What?" "Write the first letter." My heart pounded. "You mean to me?" "Yes." It hit me. "You were never in the future," I typed. "You were me after this." A pause. "I was you after I survived, after I lost our father, after I realized the truth could disappear if I didn't protect it." "How did you send them back?" "You'll figure that out. What matters is this. The letter doesn't come from time, it comes from choice." My chest tightened. "And if I don't write it?" A pause. "Then Mom's truth dies with you." I closed my eyes. I knew what I had to do. I opened a blank note and began. "Emily, if you're reading this, it means you still don't know the truth." The same words, the ones that started everything. Tears fell as I wrote, because now I understood. The future self wasn't a miracle, it was a promise. I didn't sleep that night. The hospital room was quiet, but my mind wasn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my dad's face as the police took him away. Not angry, not screaming, just empty, like a man who finally understood he'd lost everything he tried to protect. I sat up in bed, staring at the words on my phone. "Don't trust Dad. He killed Mom." The same words that had shattered my world. They didn't feel like a warning anymore. They felt like a wound. Because now I knew what they really meant. You're about to lose your father, too. The messages from the unknown number stopped after that. No goodbye, no explanation, just silence. And somehow that made it real. There was no future version of me waiting anymore. There was only me. Here, now, with the choice. When the nurse came in that morning, she smiled. "You're lucky," she said. "Could have been much worse." Lucky.
I nodded, but inside I felt hollow. Detective Harris visited later. "They've charged your father," he said softly. "Murder, conspiracy, obstruction." My chest tightened. "And Mike?" I asked. "Arrested," he said. "He confessed, said your father begged him to make it look like an accident." I closed my eyes. 2 men, 2 choices, and my mother paid for both. "What happens to my dad?" I asked. Harris hesitated. "Prison, for a long time." The words landed heavy. I nodded, even though part of me wanted to scream.
Sarah and her mom picked me up when I was discharged. They hugged me like they were afraid I'd disappear. I didn't tell them everything, just that my dad had hurt someone, that the police were involved, that I couldn't go home. Sarah didn't push. She just held my hand, and for the first time in weeks, I felt human. My aunt took me in. Her house was smaller, quieter, but safe. At night, I still jumped at every sound, still expected to see Dad standing in the doorway, but he never did because he couldn't. Sometimes I caught myself missing him, and that scared me most of all. How could I miss a man who killed my mother? But then I remembered he wasn't always a monster. He was also the man who taught me to ride a bike, who sat with me when I was sick, who called me his whole world. And that was the worst part, that someone could be both. Weeks later, I opened my backpack, and there it was, the letter, the one I'd written in the hospital, folded, sealed, waiting. My hands trembled as I held it. This was the letter that would start everything, the one I would one day find. The circle was closing. I realized something then. The letter hadn't come from the future. It came from a version of me who had already lost, who was desperate enough to risk everything, who believed that if the past could be warned, maybe the pain could be softened. But it couldn't, because some truths don't save you from pain, they just prepare you to face it. That night, I rewrote it, not on my phone, on paper, slowly, carefully, every word, every warning. My hand cramped, my eyes burned, but I kept going until the last line, "Trust me, I am you." I sealed it in an envelope and stared at it for a long time. This little piece of paper had changed my life, and it was about to do it again. When everyone was asleep, I crept into my room, opened my old diary, and hid the letter inside, right where I knew I'd find it. One day, or at least it would feel like one day. When I closed the diary, my heart pounded. It felt wrong, like lying to myself. But I wasn't. I was giving myself a chance to not be blind, a chance to not look away, a chance to survive. Life didn't magically get better. There was no relief, no celebration, just consequences, court dates, therapists, whispers at school. Some people looked at me with pity, others with suspicion, like I might be broken too. And maybe I was. The trial took months. I testified. My hands shook, but I told the truth. My father never looked at me, not once. When the verdict came back guilty, he finally did. Our eyes met, and in his, I saw something that made my chest ache. Not anger, not hatred, just loss. They led him away. That was the last time I ever saw him. People kept telling me how brave I was, how strong, how inspiring, but they didn't see me at night, curled up in bed, holding my mom's necklace, whispering, "I'm sorry," to the dark. They didn't see the girl who still wanted her dad back, even though she knew she never could. One evening, months later, I opened my diary again. The envelope was still there, sealed, waiting. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. I already knew every word. But holding it made everything real again. The fear, the fight, the moment my life split into before and after. And that's when I finally understood. The letter didn't change my past. It didn't save my mom. It didn't stop my dad. What it did was change me. It turned me from a girl who trusted blindly into someone who could face the truth, even when it broke her heart. So I put the letter back, closed the diary, and sat there for a long time, just breathing, just being, just surviving. Now, when people ask if I believe in time travel, I shake my head. No, I don't. I believe in something else. I believe in choice, in the moment when you decide, I won't look away anymore, because that's what saved me. Not a future version of myself, not a miracle, just a choice to face the truth, no matter how much it hurt. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear my father's voice. I did everything to keep you. And I whisper back, you lost me the moment you took her. I don't know what my life will look like from here. I don't know if I'll ever fully heal. Some wounds don't close. They just become part of who you are. But I do know this. I will never let my mother be forgotten. I will never let the truth be buried again. And I will never be the girl who looks away. Because the letter taught me one final thing, the most important thing of all, that sometimes the future doesn't save you. You save yourself.